you might have to jump into the actual chat in case, like, subs or raids or anything happen. I won't see them because I'll have you up on the screen. I will only see the messages as they come through. Nightbot, most of the time, Nightbot doesn't give me the thing, like the raids or anything, but I think Blue fixed that for me. But just in case, I like having my guests in chat so that they can make sure I don't miss any subs or anything like that.
I just clicked, is Couch1234, is that, what's it now? It's Couchpotatoe Gaming?
No, it's Couch123. I had to get rid of the 4 because for whatever reason it said that account already existed. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Not anymore, anyways. Okay, so basically the way the podcast works is we always have a rebuild going in the background, but since your time's kind of limited today, we're probably just going to have the Ravens and Raiders game going in the background while we're talking. And I'll probably keep this franchise up in case I ever want to make it into like a YouTube video or anything like that. And make sure I put 15-minute quarters so we don't have to worry about jumping into a separate game to finish the rest of it. So how are you enjoying football season so far? We'll start with that real quick.
Man, it's doing good. I'm liking it. Even though the Ravens lost, it was a really good first game.
Yeah, the first week had a lot of good high scores and stuff like that too.
Yeah, football is back and like a big exclamation mark. It was dope. Liked it.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead, hop into this game after I make sure that the volume isn't going to overshadow us talking, because that would be rather annoying.
PC, man.
I have a PC. I actually have a gaming PC, or gaming laptop, not just a PC. I have the Elgato to do it, but I haven't figured out why it's not letting my audio go through. That's the only thing keeping me from going on PC right now, is my audio. And I'm not sure how to fix that, so I'm going to hopefully be able to sit there with Up and Adam or somebody like that who can walk me through how to make my audio go through.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest parts to streaming that I've noticed is audio. It's just audio.
Audio in general is just super difficult.
Yeah.
And obviously at times like alerts don't go off and stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure.
When they do go off, they're like super loud. You can't control them, and you're trying to listen to your game volume, and then your freaking music's going on. Dude, it's a lot.
It's annoying. Okay, so this I need to get the link at least sent out. Need to at least put the link onto the group chat so that we at least have a couple people streaming in here. And then we'll go ahead and start with the questions.
Sounds good.
Yeah, today, the next day, and Sunday are going to be very busy weeks for me days in terms of content for me. I have a couple videos releasing every day on YouTube, so.
Nice.
From Las Vegas, Nevada.
And I just paste the link there. Okay, so I have it on both my group and on Twitter, so we're good. Alright, so the first question will be the same as I ask everybody else. What got you into streaming initially? What person or what motivation did you have to start streaming?
So when I first started watching Twitch, I kind of went into the IRL category, and one of the first people I watch is EXBC. It's like a South Korean couple that like travel around just documenting what they do and eating, just, general stuff like that. And I was getting into IRL streams. I believe I watched like Real Shook one as well. Like he would fish on stream in like Australia. He'd be like doing some crazy fishing. So yeah, I was getting into it like that. And then eventually I got heavy into For Honor and was just pumping that out because I've always been into Madden. I've been playing Madden since back in the day. So once I got into Twitch from the IRL world, and then for some reason my buddies just started playing For Honor randomly. So I watched For Honor videos online, and then started watching streams online. And then watched like habitually, an Irish streamer that actually watched like every morning. And I don't know if I interacted with the chat as much because I didn't really know anything about that, but it was more about just watching the streamer at the time, just trying to figure out like how to get better at the game type thing. But yeah, I feel like that. And then I initially was like, hey man, Madden's coming out at this certain date, and I'm gonna be signing out. And that's pretty much what happened. And I went back to because I had J-Dub as followed very early, and that's when I went to that and started just watching J-Dub streams in the morning. And once you start watching someone for a while, and then you see there's a bunch of people in the chat that have the same names that you see constantly, and you kind of run it. It's like almost like a bar. So you know what I mean. It was cool just to chill and do that. And once I started interacting with chats, I was like, damn, I was one thing away from stream, which was buying a capture card, and I pushed that off for quite some time, almost like a year and a half. I was like, nah, I don't want it. It's like, it's an investment. And I was like, that's a decent amount of money on a capture card. Like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then you end up doing it, and man, I'm definitely grateful. You got to take that leap. But yeah, that's kind of what got me into streaming. But just already being into video games and stuff like that, so it wasn't really much that I had to do. I already had a PC, and I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously I've said the story a couple times, so I'll abbreviate it for this one. I came into streaming last April, 2020, not this past one, as in like 2 months ago. And it was a few days after my mom passed away. And I was looking for something to do.
Sorry to hear that.
And so I'm like, I'll just make a Twitch, because I had some friends that told me that was a good thing to watch when you're just doing stuff around the house, right? And then the first person I jumped into the chat of was Fendler first. And then my afternoon guy was like Silent Ninja, and there was a couple others mixed in there when I first got on. And then my late night stream that I'd watch would be Maze GC, and those would be the three I'd be consistently watching for the first couple months I was on the platform. And then when I started getting more into the community, I started going into like Murphy D's, Luch's, Up and Adams, and now I go into almost every chat I see. I'm at least in there for a couple minutes. And yeah, that's how I got into it. It became like a second family type of deal for me. So.
Definitely, I totally agree.
Okay, so when you think of this community, what's the first three words that come to mind to you? Silver Fox, welcome, my friend.
That's for me. Love. I feel like there's a level of camaraderie that's dealt. It's almost like an unwritten rule. You know what I mean? And I'm not here for anything other than just to hang out with the homies and relax. You know what I mean? I didn't come on here to do anything but that. So if anything else happens, that's cool. But just hang out, meet new people and stuff like that. I think that's cool. The community's really welcoming. I guess welcoming is a good word.
Most definitely. Silver Fox is in chat now. He's actually going to be my guest. I think he's supposed to be my guest.
Fox, tight end legend.
He's supposed to be my guest tomorrow. So it goes you, him, and then it goes Venom for Saturday. But yeah, you and him connected on a lot of touchdowns that one season.
Yeah, right.
And it was a great season. So far, as you saw, the franchise is going well for this year's Madden. It's weird because I play the games for season 1 anyways before I try to send them for the other seasons. It's weird because the times I do find your person specifically open, it's for a big game, and then the rest of the game he gets just two maybe 2-3 times a game, and they're typically for 20 plus yards, right? And that's it. You get 3 catches, 75 yards or so, and that's it.
That's all right.
So you get the good. You're like a Keenan Allen for the team, basically. You get them in pretty clutch moments of the game.
Hey, I like that.
And then Ninja and Fox are still the 2 tight ends. It's been that way. Silent Ninja's been a tight end the entire time I've been doing this. So.
Who's the new QB with number 1?
That would be Mark Ant.
Nice.
And we just had we had one injury that happened 2 weeks ago, and it was to Pretty Boy Kiz. And we actually signed OLC Steve-O to fill in for him. So.
Oh, nice.
And then we still have Fendler and the same offensive line from last year is returning, so no real fresh names there. All our skill positions are different. Either different people are there or the same people are there, but they're in different spots. The only consistencies are like the middle linebackers are always Murphy D and Leach. And then we have like Sapper and Fritz are, I think, the outside linebackers. So yeah, it's pretty tough defense for the stream team for sure. I think the most points we've allowed so far is 14. And the lowest amount we've scored is like 41, I think.
Damn. That's really good.
Okay, so obviously you being a Ravens fan, right? Season didn't kick off quite the way you expected it to. It was, like you said, it was a very good game. We actually have that same game playing right now on Madden at the moment. But what do you think you'll see this week that might flip that result? You're obviously going against a much better offense to deal with. Oh, that's cool. The emotes actually show up as emotes on my chat now. That's for
Laser beam.
Laser beam though with the little trolling emotes there. Welcome to chat, my friend. But what do you think needs to happen for you guys to win a game against the Chiefs this coming week?
The secondary, we need to throw the ball, and we need to not let them throw the ball. All the while stopping the running game. Yeah, so it's quite possible, especially when Marcus Peters went down. I think you get 3 running backs that get injured. I think Marcus Peters, him getting injured was more important than all 3 of those running backs.
Yeah, because I feel like obviously Lamar's really good on the ground. So even without the running backs, even with whoever you guys sign now, I feel like even without those running backs, I think he can easily like give some of that production back.
Yeah, I'm a big I guess I just really like offensive line. And if you have a really good offensive line, it doesn't really matter who's back there, honestly. And our offensive line isn't even that great right now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
if I was there, I'd rather have that than any running back.
I'm actually I don't know if you watch any of the other games besides like your game, or if you're more into like football. Obviously, the Chargers' offensive line is significantly improved this year, and one of the key people that made that happen is Rashawn Slater. I don't know if you saw the statistic, but I think it was like 49 pass rushes, he allowed nothing. Not a single thing. And that was against Washington's front 4. So, between him, Corey Linsley, both of them I think made the biggest impact on how well the line's going to be playing this year. And I think statistically they mentioned it in the quarterback index, but apparently Herbert was the least pressured quarterback in week 1.
Yeah, it looked like he had a lot of time on his hands.
And I don't know if you saw any of the parts of that game that were questionable, but the fumble they said that Herbert had was probably one of the plays that honestly pissed me off the most, because it was obviously an incomplete pass. And it was because not only are the fans of the actual team, but other fans of other teams, and I think, that guy they kind of I think it's Mike Pereira or some shit. He got called in, and even he's like, yeah, that should have been an incomplete pass. So, that I think was annoying, because when people are talking about it on YouTube and doing their power rankings, they don't mention the little asterisk next to the fumble that Herbert had, saying, oh, this should have been an incomplete pass or anything like that. They just play it off as a turnover. But I do feel like the Ravens definitely the secondary needs to contain Tyreek Hill, and the middle linebackers I think need to focus more on Kelsey.
Yeah, it's tough. The Chiefs, even when I feel like the Ravens are full to go, everybody right there, nobody injured, it's still going to be a tie game or they're going to win. Like, it's still a tough game.
Yeah, Chiefs seemingly has been the consistent kryptonite for the Ravens the past few seasons. But who knows? It might switch sides this time around. Maybe the Ravens pull up an upset. There was a couple of those week one actually, so who knows? Maybe it continues this
there were
week.
some good ones.
That Saints one was a big one.
49ers almost lost.
The Saints one was probably one of the most shocking ones, along with probably the Texans. But, so, obviously a lot of us do jump around a lot of different streamers, both in and outside the community. Who would you say are the 3 streamers you watch the most that are not, like, super high-profile people?
I would say Drunken Master. I think Drunken Master's an underrated streamer. That's one of the people that I do watch a lot, but that's just one of my homies.
Yeah, I've popped into his chat a couple times. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's see. What was the question? I just want to make sure that aren't high on the directory.
3 names, basically 3 names that are, I'm going to say less than 1,000 follows.
Maybe like Guys, or like JG. I'm trying to think. Stoney's one of the people I like to hang out with a lot.
Yeah, Stoney's cool to hang out with. Very high energy.
Yeah, Stoney. Yeah, it's also Stoney and them. They're just great people. They're nice people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I find that there's not very many really bad people in the community. There's been obviously some headbutting between people, and there's been a few people who have had to leave the community entirely because of the problems that were being caused, but for the most part, we all are basically on the same wavelength. We all like to just do this for fun. We like to hang out with people. None of us are really here for the money, and that's what I think is different between this community and others, because other communities care way too much about money compared to just having friends in the way that we do.
Yeah, I just never really signed on to do anything, but just relax. It's a hobby, for sure.
Most definitely. I mean, obviously, like a lot of us have sub goals going on this month because of the whole September thing. Do you have any sub goals for this month, and do you have any like Twitch goals in general between now and the end of the year that you're trying to accomplish?
I just want to get my viewership up maybe, and then probably get back to like 50 subs again, because I think I'm around like the 20 something. I was at like 30. I was in the 30s for a long time, but I want to get that up, and not necessarily that, but more just like I'm just happy I'm getting more exposure now, if that makes sense. Like I don't really the sub count and all that. It's cool and all, but make some cool connections with people, and you know what I mean, gain some followers the natural way.
I haven't had.
You and watch you, then that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool if you're
I haven't had more than maybe 10 subscribers for more than a year now, and to me, it's like that's cool. I don't really mind too much about how many subscribers I have. I care more about people who are active in chat.
Right?
Like this month, I really only made a sub goal because I got that one chip challenge that needs 2 people, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing right now is like the spicy nut challenge, the hot chip challenge, and all those. And I'm like, okay, this will fit into what everyone else is doing. And I don't know if you saw it, but I did put it up as a poll to decide what the number was. And 350 was what the number was. I don't see that happening. I've never had more than I think maybe 60. So it's a lofty goal. And if we hit it, we hit it. If we don't, we don't. We'll just have that sitting around, and when we do have the possibility of breaking it, it'll be sitting here ready to be used. So, but like my goals, I'm hoping at some point I can hit a level 5 hive train. I've never had one. And that's not an ego one, or that's not like a selfish goal or anything. I would just love to have a level 5 after being part of so many of them, and that's the main one I think for Twitch. I don't have, besides like the, that goal. I've already gotten one of my goals, which was 1K followers, and I'm just above that now, so.
There you go.
And then my YouTube goals are what I'm more focused on right now. I'm trying to hit 200 subs by the end of the year. My viewership's actually gone up the last couple videos. I had, like, my last one had, I think, 54, and then the one before that had 45. And before that, I was getting less than 15, basically. And then from when I started these podcasts to now, they've been hitting mostly double digits. But yeah, a lot of my goals have more to do with YouTube than Twitch at this point, because I feel like there's not much you can achieve on Twitch if you're not way more consistent. And that 1 month, I think I streamed, a couple months ago, I streamed, I think, 20-something days out of 30. And then a lot of stuff just got in the way the last few months, and I'm starting to kind of get back on that consistent grind. These podcasts are going to help, I think, greatly. And then...
definitely gotta keep up the grind,
Yeah, and then I'm starting on YouTube grinding as well, and I'm trying to get my YouTube back to where it was about a year ago. I was posting not a year ago, because it was a couple years ago. I was, like, weeks would go by where I wouldn't miss an upload, and then just, you know how life is, just it gets in the way. And so,
For sure.
I have
That's
three...
That's what comes first, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then I have 3 franchise modes going on YouTube right now. A Chargers franchise, a Jets franchise, and then a practice squad franchise. Which practice squad basically means I can't sign anybody in free agency, and I can only, like, draft people if I reach for them. And besides, like, maybe 3 or 4 players I traded for just because I'm playing the games for the most part, I traded for Trey Lance, Rashawn Slater, and I think 2 other people. But I wanted my tackles for my offensive line to be locked in, and I wanted a quarterback that still had some idea how to throw a football. But yeah, it's a much more challenging franchise. I actually just finished that video, or I streamed that on here, and then it goes out in video form, like, almost right after. And we ended up beating the Niners, I think it was 35-3. And I don't know why, because I don't, like, mess with any sliders really that much. Like, I mess with the CPU side a little bit, because otherwise they never miss a pass, and they always intercept the pass that you throw and all that stuff. So I adjusted that a little bit. But I leave fumbles alone. And for some reason, I mean, you've noticed it from seeing some of the stats from the past stream team. We force a lot of fumbles, and it's.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I don't know,
Stats
like,
are wild on there.
I don't want to, like, push that around because I don't know which way it goes for it to happen less. And messing with that specific slider.
Too, though, so it kind of counteracts it.
Yeah, there's a lot of touchdowns too, and that's what kind of sucks about the fumbles, because we get a lot of fumbles on their side of the field, so, like, yardage stats seem a little weird comparatively to touchdowns. Like, you've seen some of yours from last season. You had a couple hundred, 300 to 400 yards, and typically you'd have 6-7 touchdowns randomly. And that was one of the reasons why we'd always be, like, 40 yards away from the touchdowns. So I don't know how to, like, counteract that yet. And I've been watching Mr. Hurricane. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a sports YouTuber. He's doing Madden franchise, the same exact one I'm doing with the practice squad, only he's not drafting and not signing free agents. So mine's a little bit easier than what he's doing, but he's where I got that specific idea from. I'm hoping if he does a main channel franchise, he can give me a good idea for sliders when he does, like, a video on that, and I'm hoping that'll make it a little bit more realistic. Because, like, the Chargers games that I've played, blowout wins, but they're the only ones that really should, in terms of Madden, should be getting a good, decent amount of scoring. But the Jets just completely demolishing their first opponent just doesn't seem realistic. And this practice squad scoring 30 on San Francisco doesn't make any sense either. So, the Animal 916, how are you doing, buddy?
Yo, the animal in the building.
Okay, so.
Well, the homie's right there.
Oh, Miss Stoney, how are you doing? We were just talking about Stoney like 5 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, right. We've spoken into his existence.
Well, she's in here. The Stoney himself isn't in here yet. I'm doing pretty good as well. Thanks for asking, both of you. We just booted up, as you guys can see, about 25, almost 26 minutes ago. We've been chatting a little bit more about football than most other guests I've had on here outside of maybe Mamory or PTA. One or the other might have spoken a little bit more about football. But our friend here, Kyle, has a little bit of a shorter time to be on here, so that's kind of made me adjust what type of questions I'm asking.
We got time. We'll be good.
Okay, so since we have some of the people in here, do you guys have any questions for Kyle you would like to ask him? Typically, I save these for the end, but since there's a few people in here, we might as well see if they have any questions for you while I think of another question that I think would be enlightening to everybody.
Drunken Master and Stoney to not be able to ask these questions.
Well, Stoney himself isn't in here. Miss Stoney is, but Stoney himself is not.
Laser Beam! Hell yeah, Laser Beam's the man. Dude, I need a bucket hat. We need to do a Laser Beam Wuji crossover bucket hat stream. We'll see if we can get Schoolboy Q's attention. He's the ultimate bucket hat wearer.
Like ultimate hat wearer. I don't know if you remember this, but when the community was a little more younger and we had a few other members in there, there'd be things like, there'd be Fendler has like several alter egos and stuff, which was really funny.
Oh yeah, gotta do it.
But like at one point I made a collage of Helmet Fend, and then we had Sombrero Mile High, or Cardiac Hembo was the actual guy's name, but Cardiac Hembo would wear a sombrero, right? And then we had, I think Ninja was wearing, I think it was a turtle costume, one of those Ninja Turtle costumes. And then I think we had Headband Goat Geezy, and it was like they were the four faces that I could use in one that would make it look funny.
Personas.
Yeah, they were like really, really funny at that time. There was a lot of those alter egos type of things going around. And I mean, the community's grown quite a bit. And obviously, like the maturity levels kind of adjusted a little bit in terms of what the people and viewers are doing. But one thing that hasn't changed is all the streamers that are in this community are very fun to watch. Always bring their A game. And even when they're down, they typically do hop in and start streaming. And the one, like, unmeasurable part of this community that I don't think anybody can match is our ability to raise the spirits of a streamer when their spirits are down.
Sure, yeah, that's a good point.
And I feel like a couple of people, if they were in here, would agree. I mean, Miss Stoney agrees. Like when Fendler's having a bad day, typically when he boots up and he has low energy, we're really good at raising his energy up. I think we've done it a couple of times with people like Robo, Silent Ninja, Drunken Master D, Mamory. There's a few people we've helped out a lot.
Active chat, keeping that energy up, man, for sure. I definitely agree.
And like that's unmeasurable to the success of the community, I think.
Yeah, they're all into Madden too, and all into the same interests, so it's cool to be able to relate with people.
Yeah, and then we have some multifaceted streamers that play a multitude of games, myself being one of them.
Yeah.
I think if you go on like my main page on my Twitch, I'm pretty sure I have like 6 different games sitting there that I've played, and I've definitely played a lot more than that. Just they only, I think, can fit like 6 or 7 on there. But I pride myself as being a variety streamer because I'm just not into playing like Madden head-to-head and like, weekend league and all those type of shit like other people do, because I just don't enjoy it, I enjoy
I even
playing
had a friend
franchise.
early on that was just telling me, like, hey man, we're here to watch you. Don't matter what game you're playing, like almost like the head-to-head will take away from your actual, you know, your
Enjoyment.
yeah, exactly. So
They like watching
yeah,
streamers
it's
who
all
enjoy what they're
to
playing,
yeah,
I
it's
think
the
is the main
stream. You know,
thing.
whatever game you want to play that shit, man. If you lose a couple viewers, whatever. You might gain a couple in a different directory. It's all about just having fun, man. In my opinion, and
Yeah, I know.
yeah, that's what I'm here for.
When I was streaming like Final Fantasy VII, which I still have to finish, but for some reason Final Fantasy games in general have been a little bit weird on my streams recently, because I tried to stream Final Fantasy X2 yesterday, and it would not show the game. It wouldn't. It would just show the little like blue screen with the little bouncing heads and the little picture of like a camera for PlayStation players, anyways. And it would just sit there doing that, and I'd be sitting there on the title screen. So, and then Final Fantasy VII randomly cut off during like a sub-boss fight that I was doing. So I kind of have to figure out why it's doing that before I can try to stream those. But like Detroit Becoming Human, I played through that entire game on stream, and I never had less than like 5 viewers during any of those streams. So, and a lot of people in the community that I've noticed, like people like Dino, CJ Sauce, and a few other people have been in like a lot of the chats when I'm playing other games. And
Pretty cool.
I like bringing that, that variety. And I also like,
Sure.
Maybe introducing people to new games, and maybe even reintroducing them to games they used to play, and maybe getting them back into them.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's very interesting. If you play different games, you know what I mean? You can, it's in reality, a lot of people, I don't want to be like toxic or nothing, kind of mark my words correctly, but you want to separate yourself from people, and you want to do that in all facets of life sometimes, but you know what I mean? On here, you got a lot of people kind of doing the same thing, so if you can do anything to separate yourself, or you can kind of give somebody else a different perspective, I think that's really important too.
Like I said, I think it was Miss Rob Gaming, I think is who it was. I like watching people play Madden, but the problem with watching people play Madden on here is it's always kind of the same thing, just with a different face and different strategy, basically. And I mean, I still pop in for like all the boys that are playing it. I pop in for 5, 10, 15 minutes, something like that, and then I go to a different channel. But the reason I don't stay in one for hours is because I don't feel like there's anything unique going on there. It'll get boring to me because I've seen it all.
Yeah, and that's why not having content sometimes, or like, I don't know how to explain it. We always get a lot of content, but if it just, I don't know how to explain it.
And obviously,
sometimes like maybe the directory goes down or something, not, you know what I mean? And you gotta just be there to hold.
Miss Stoney
and
actually.
it doesn't matter what game you're playing, you gotta be able to hold that. So,
Miss Stoney hit it right on the head.
People.
You have to create a content around the game since it's so boring.
Yeah.
I'm not in a streamer's
it's
like.
Hard for me, like I'm not,
If I'm in like a streamer's chat and they're just weekend link head to head, and it's like it's the same thing. What's new here? You have the same lineup as everybody else. It's all like the best players you can find. Why am I watching? So stuff like what Luch is doing. What Luch is doing, his all gold team. I like watching that because he doesn't have all the glitchiest players in the game on his lineup like everybody else does.
For sure, and I think a lot of ways too. When you first start streaming, you literally have no one's done that before, so
yes,
you kind of have
Animal.
to get used to it. So once you kind of get out of your shell, because I feel like the first like 6 to 7 months, I was just not as good, and I just kind of was more shy. And I was probably listening to the party a little bit more, and I always read the chat, but sometimes when you have that Xbox party and they're just talking the whole time, it kind of takes away from everything else. Plus,
Animal.
My friends at the time.
Animal,
like
I'm going to tell you this once.
They got lots of kids crying in the background.
We are talking directly to you, sir. Animal, we are talking directly about you. You should feel personally attacked because you're the specific person we're talking about right now. It's actually what Miss Stoney said. We're not actually bored watching you. Don't worry about it.
like that. If you got persistency, man, and you're trying that, and you're going full go, and you're like posting on Twitter, and you're in other people's chats and stuff like that, I think that's solid, man. You gotta give people respect. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter if you fire up, boot up, you got one person. You know what I mean? You gotta learn how to just be there and stream with one person.
You gotta
that's
not focus. Obviously, with the format of how this would have to go, it's a little difficult. But you have to not look at the numbers.
For sure.
What you want to do is you want to create content that you like to play, not that everybody else likes to watch.
Yes, and it goes the same. You need to be the same as if there's one person or if there's 700 people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
that's
the hardest part is when you do get a solid raid, you gotta not be kind of, you gotta nut up a little bit.
Being yourself is the biggest thing you can do as a streamer. Everyone can see through deceptive people pretty quickly, and I feel like that's why some people actually end up crashing and burning when they stream, because they try to put on a fake persona, like an entirely fake one, right?
For sure.
And
yeah,
like you've seen, like in other chats, you've seen how I am with people in those chats, and people who have chatted with me on here have even said, you're as genuine as person on this freaking platform as I've ever met and been able to talk to, and that's something that I pride myself in doing, right? And Animal, or a cheap imitation of your favorite streamers, exactly. You don't want to be cheap imitations.
Oh damn! Thanks, Animal. Jeez.
Animal has some of the. Animal might need to be the person I have next week on here. So I feel like he has some good insight that I need to get into.
Animal's the next one to go Hollywood. My boy Ty, let's go.
And
with me if I ever make it.
Animal, I am making a request right now for you to message me on Twitter, and we're gonna set up a day that we can have you on this.
Yeah, real talk. I think the Animal. I would be riding his coattails more than mine. If that makes sense in any way. He's a great streamer.
I'm trying to like with who I invite on.
I'm crying. You're not crying. Whoops, I messed that up.
I'm not crying. You're crying. I think that's what you meant to say.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll chat Animal, because right now I know tomorrow I have Silver Fox on here, and then I have Venom Fury on here Saturday, and obviously nobody wants to be on here Sunday, and I don't even want to do it Sunday because it's football. So. But we'll find a day, and we'll find a day for you, and I'm sure a lot of people will pop in for that. You're pretty well known around here. A lot of people enjoy you, so you'll probably bring a lot of people in for a lot of questions, and I think that'll be cool to have, a guest that has a lot of viewer questions as opposed to mine. Miss Stoney's like, because everyone hangs out in Stoney's chat during football. Well, I'm not Stoney, okay? I don't have the fucking overlays and shit to make mine look all fancy for people to have something appealing to the eye. It's just me and the game.
I think I'm gonna stream pretty early every Sunday and then just raid Stoney at 1 p.m. every time.
Fun fact about Venom, he lives like 1 or 15 minutes away from me. That's pretty cool, actually. During football, there's only one place to be. True. Okay, what were you saying?
I just was saying, what state do you live in, if you don't mind me asking?
Mine?
Yeah.
I live in Cali.
Gotcha.
And
That's cool.
Venom, I believe, lives in Cali too, though I might be wrong. No, I'm thinking of Mamrie, who lives on the same coast as me. Oh, Animal does too. Didn't even know that. Learn something new every day. Venom lives in Okay, so he does live in California. Awesome.
I live really far from you guys. I live in Florida.
So we have a couple of people who live in California, and then there's you that lives on literally the opposite side of the country.
You live on the opposite side of the country.
Memory, Taco, Iron Manny, Silent Ninja, I think, is in Cali too, actually.
East Coast.
And then there's Fendler, who doesn't believe the other coast exists. So.
I'm with Fendler. on that one.
Just the other coast doesn't exist. All right, well, we're not. No offense to you, but we're not idiots in Florida either. So, no offense to you specifically, but you know damn well there's a lot of stupid people there.
I just know that we get all the how do I explain this? We get all those weird cases that you would see every 10 years.
Like man streaks through
Casey
airport while shouting "squirrels are chasing me" and shit like that.
There's some parts in Florida where there's people, they grow up and it's like there's a pond over there with a 6-foot alligator. They're jumping in to go wrestle it. So,
yeah, it's like, what the fuck is he thinking, dude?
Hey man, these people have been living here for a long time. Florida's got some great history. I think it's really interesting.
Florida residents are literally the definition of YOLO.
Yeah, honestly, where I live, you would come here and you'd be like, wow, yeah, this is like a HOA pretty much, but it's a city. You know what I mean? It's very I guess it's suburby, but it's not. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like very rich. Is that explained? It's just like kind of the middle, just kind of chill, very just I don't know. Because you do have like Naples, which is like the nicer area, which is probably like an hour away. But
yeah, I definitely get that. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, anyways. And I just noticed
it's very casual. It's not what you would expect from the stereotype.
Yeah.
You still got some idiots in here, but no, it's not like that.
I just realized too.
A lot of people are from up north. Like everybody that lives in Florida is from up north. Just remember that one. Like everybody.
I just realized something too. Everyone in chat, and you obviously who I'm talking to right now, I just realized all the teams that are represented in chat right now are 0-1.
Shit. The boys.
We have Miss Stoney, who I think falls under Minnesota, since Stoney does, or she doesn't really care about sports, not sure which. Animals, the Cowboys. Laser Beams, New England. You're the Ravens. My Chargers won. The host is 1-0, but everyone else is 0-1. What the hell? But
I think the Dolphins messed up by not getting Herbert. That's what happened.
yeah, and then you got me, who's like, we got the steal of the draft, buddies.
One of my best friends, he's a huge Chargers fan, and we were actually able to play with, excuse my language, I forget his name now that I'm explaining the story. One of the linebackers. Could you name off some middle linebackers from the past couple years?
From which team?
From the Chargers. We got to play
Denzel Perryman.
It was awesome. Denzel Perryman, yes. Bam. Thank you. Yeah, we played PUBG with Denzel Perryman, and it was awesome.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
or something asking people if we wanted to play, and my buddy just had it, and I just happened to, fill that extra spot. It was cool.
Basically, they're like
three.
The three middle linebackers that I would think of initially would be Drew Tranquil, Denzel Perryman. Obviously, Kenneth Murray was only here last season. Those are kind of the main three, and besides that, there's been basically fillers at that spot a lot of the time. So
that's why it made me think, like, damn, I want to ask Hollywood Brown if he wants to play Madden or something.
So I was thinking of this too, and obviously we have Darrington Evans as obviously a NFL player who actually stands up for small streamers like us, and that I feel is pretty cool. And then we have people like Juju who are just there for the clout, from what I could tell right now. There's a couple other ones on. Like, I know Keenan Allen streams sporadically. I know Austin Eckler streams too, but I think his might have slowed down since he's actually playing again.
Here's one thing to say too, is if you could find a formula like that, you know what I mean? If you're like famous and you use your platform to either make you money or expand your platform more in the sense of like you're an athlete or something like that, you know what I mean?
And we don't.
I don't know. Like even like the Jujus of the world, that I don't know what they do. I don't go on their streams or whatnot, but as you're saying, I don't think they really I don't know.
I feel like
explain it really.
I feel like some of the people, it's like they could be there for pretty selfish reasons, and then there's people who might be there just for shits and gigs, basically. But we don't know what they do with what they make on Twitch. For all we know, Darrington Evans, I'll start with him. For all we know, he gifts subs back to everybody with everything he makes on Twitch. We don't know. And that's one of the things I don't like is when people talk about Madden or basketball players, basketball or like football players or any of that, being on stream and calling them greedy because they're trying to do another source of income. We don't know where that income's actually going when they get it, It could all be going to a charity for all we know.
Yeah, and it's none of our business either.
It's also that. None of our business.
What it is, too, is like certain people might deal with being famous differently. You know what I mean? I don't know how that works, obviously. But what I'm saying
let's
is,
compare it.
Maybe somebody's on a stream and they've streamed and maybe they tried to read every chat the first couple times and it was just overwhelming. You know what I mean? Maybe they're just too big of an athlete and, you can't keep up with all that if you're freaking...
Well, let's compare athletes when it comes to after they've had some fame. Antonio Brown is a good example. He got a lot of fame, he did a lot of stupid shit, and he somehow ended up on the Bucks. But he's by far...
He's on my fantasy team. He's on my bench, though.
He's one of my most hated players in the NFL right now is Antonio Brown. I feel like he should never gotten a second chance after all the stuff that came out. To be true against him, let me make that clear, true against him. I don't know, I just don't like having that type of player in the league. And then you have players like Dak Prescott. He's a really good human being. He's a great guy off the field. And he puts up the stats on the field, too. And then you have kind of that middle person who doesn't make waves one way or another, And I feel like when you have those ones that are like Antonio Brown and those type of people, you're not sure if you want them to be anywhere near your team no matter what their talent level is, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, kind of, and at the same sense, it's like the average span in the NFL is like 2 years. That's the average span for the average player. So you got a lot of players that are just staying in the league for a while because they're the best players, obviously, and you got the new players coming in. I don't know how this shit works, but I don't know. It's hard to explain.
You have people like Big Ben and Brady and those type of guys. Obviously, a good chunk of the older guys have retired the last few seasons. But people like Brady, Fitzpatrick is actually pretty old now, too. Big Ben.
There's a lot of unsung heroes. There's you know what I mean? Like, if the average is 2 years, there's a lot of players playing, maybe getting injured, and that's it. You know what I mean? Type thing. So
yeah, and
it's a
you have players like Keenan Allen.
Grateful to be able to play.
You have players like Keenan Allen, who have stayed pretty consistent despite injuries. Has played pretty consistently when he has played. And those type of guys are like right in the middle. They don't have breakout seasons, but they're consistent enough to where they make the impact they need to make, right? And then you have people like Patrick Mahomes, who does nothing but win games when his team needs him to. And then you have the liabilities. And then you have the liabilities, which currently the biggest liability is Daniel Jones. And obviously Daniel Jones, I think it's a make or break season for him, obviously. I feel like he's not going to be able to do enough this year unless they somehow win that division. I don't think he's going to be a Giant next season. But you never know. I mean, week one, you look at week one, that was the most unpredictable week one I've seen in a long time. The amount of, upset wins and blowouts that shouldn't have been blowouts as well.
A lot of it, too, might be into coaching, you know what I mean? It might be something else, but,
look at what the Lions did.
Sam Darnold, who on the Jets was there forever, and it's like, I almost felt bad for the guy, go to a different team, give him another chance type feel.
And he got it with Carolina, and he didn't look bad,
if it doesn't work out, maybe they'll ship him off, you're right. Send him somewhere else.
But if you look at Sam Darnold,
I still think it's a little early to say that. I think he's got at least 2 more years left.
With Sam Darnold, what's interesting about him is I do feel like it was the Jets organization that failed him, not him failing the Jets. Bro. And you saw it this past week. He may not have like lit up the scoreboard or anything like that, but he looked very comfortable behind his line last week. He looked like he was at home when he was playing, and that's something we haven't seen from him since his rookie season. He actually looked like he wanted to be there, and it looked like he enjoyed playing. And then you have guys like, obviously, Herbert being the offensive rookie last year and doing a pretty good start this year. He's one of those guys that you know damn well is going to be pure, he's going to be around for at least 10 years, right? And he's already proven he has a talent. Now you just need to make sure you build around him properly. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of teams just don't do. They don't build around the talent they have in the proper way. But we'll see with some of these teams that had devastating losses. We'll see how they flip it this week.
Yeah, week one's tough. You don't play your starters in the preseason anymore, so it's a lot of
like Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. A lot of our key guys didn't play a single down, and our O-line only played a very limited amount of snaps. And I think an underrated part of the Chargers O-line is that connection that Corey Linsley and Brian Bulaga already have from being in Green Bay. But I don't know.
I didn't want to cut you off. I just didn't know if you had any planned questions left.
I actually have a couple more here. So, obviously, you celebrated an anniversary recently, right?
In May, yeah.
Yeah, pretty recently.
I think my affiliate anniversary though is today, but my actual anniversary, my girlfriend and I, the one that.
Okay, so and how long was that anniversary again? How many years?
2.
2 years. Okay, so obviously you having been in a relationship for 2 years, what would you say has been the key to that relationship? Like, what has been the best part of it? What has been the most key factor in having it be as successful as it's been? Because it's been 2 years, so that's a pretty successful relationship, if you ask me.
I think you just gotta communicate.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, communication's definitely key. Like you were telling me earlier,
if you're not communicating or something like that. But yeah, in a lot of ways, and
Yeah, you were talking to me earlier. Your girlfriend wanted to go out, do something. I forgot what you had typed right now, and that's why we're cutting this a little short.
Her ultrasound school and stuff. So Thursday night, she's able to actually do something.
And that's why we're cutting this interview is going to be a little bit shorter than other ones I've done. And that's also why I think you're streaming a little bit earlier too.
No, I usually actually stream at 3 p.m., but I had to push it back a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I forgot that it was actually you were already pushing it back to be on here, so. But, yeah, I think I agree with you. Communication's definitely one of the biggest things in any relationship, not just a girlfriend-boyfriend thing, but also like a friendship, you need communication with them too. And that's definitely, obviously the whole saying happy wife, happy life thing. Well, that still applies no matter what level the relationship's in, right?
Yeah, that applies for sure. Yeah, and I think to a level, I'm just really lucky. I feel like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I went there for a while and just kind of doing my thing, just working, going to school or whatever, where I was just living that bachelor life for a while, the whole roommate, your house is a mess, you don't use the living room, you got 2 Ethernet cords running through your house, you know what I mean, type thing.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, and then it's I'm definitely grateful and
I think
lucky. It's it just everything's been working out, you know what I mean? I have no doubts at all, so I'm just super great. I'm lucky as hell, man. And maybe some people get into the relationship.
Sorry to interrupt you. We just got a raid from WTF Gamepad with 7 viewers.
Hey, what a raid!
With a Ratington, though.
Let's go, OGN out here.
How are you guys doing from my fellow Charger fans raid? How did it go, Gamepad? You obviously had 7 people when you shipped over, so I'm hoping. Yeah, I was hoping it was going pretty good. Just chilling out. Do anything good on Madden? Pick up any new players? Now this guy, Gamepad, he's obviously a Charger fan like myself, and he's definitely one of those underrated streamers I feel that are in this community.
Oh, sure.
Nah, I sold my Rodney. He is trash. I've heard a little bit about that specific card being pretty trash too, so I don't blame you. Sean is the only safety you need right now. I think that's fair. Maybe when we get done with this game, or maybe when we finish up the interview, I can show off the Mutt Squad a little bit, show you guys what I'm working with. But yeah, I'm glad you shipped the boys over. I haven't gotten any good raids like that in a couple weeks, so it feels good to get one. Okay, so right now you know what, we're gonna go fast, and we're gonna get out of this game real quick, because it looks like the Ravens are on their way to losing in Sim, too. Yeah, it was bad. Like, I have Ronnie, but this 86 plays the same as that 91. Yeah, you know that's pretty bad when 86 plays better than a 91. Oh, Ravens actually came back and made it a 2-point game, though. Still lost, but lost by 2 was better than what I was seeing happening. But yeah, let's show off the Mutt Squad real quick, and while I am, let's go ahead and ask you another question. What's your Mutt Squad looking like? Have you done a lot of grinding more so, or have you been more into like buying like packs?
I've been trying to. So since my inception of Mutt, I think I started playing in 2013 or 14. So it's a pretty bad habit. I've been able to control it. But yeah, I try to get that 50-50. Grind the game, spend a little, and then grind a lot more.
Yeah, like with me.
Get the level packs. Every once in a while, if you like a certain player or something like that, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of pick and choose very often. I need to. You know what I mean? But I've been rocking the Ravens team. This is my second year in a row. I just picked up Priest Holmes and powered him up today. The training's a little bit lower.
Animal's asking if you're on Xbox.
I am on Xbox, yeah. I have Xbox and PlayStation, but I use the PlayStation for strictly like God of War and Spider-Man, shit like that.
Hey, if you ever decide you want to play something other than that on there, and you decide you want to get Madden, unless you already got the Madden to where you can... Oh wait, you can't, because it's 2 separate consoles, goddammit. But if you ever feel like getting it for the PS4, I'd love it. No, I mean, who buys an Xbox for anything other than Madden? Come on.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that just don't like next gen as much. I get it. It's
yeah, I saw
like
Beam.
Like
Beam doesn't like next gen at all. Beam hates it.
Yeah, for me it was like the stress I went through trying to get the console, and then when you get the console, you're still playing on the original edition. I think that's backwards.
Okay, so I want to direct chat over to the lineup menu. You guys can soak this in while Kyle's talking. But as you guys can see, it's a little more of a Chargers themed team. I'm slowly starting to put the pieces in to make it a full Chargers themed team. But they haven't released enough of their cards yet to make it into that yet. So the ones I do have are pretty decent overalls. We got Herbert there at quarterback. We got LT and Reggie Bush as our running backs. We have Devontae Smith, Keenan Allen, and Calvin Johnson as wide receivers. Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert as tight ends. Line, I'm not going to bother saying their names because I don't think line really matters, if I'm being honest. And then here's defensively, we got Denzel Perryman. I actually quick sold my Bobby Wagner. It was an 87 Nat, so I couldn't sell him. But I quick sold him, got Denzel Perriman. I have Seau, Bosa, Preston Smith, Nasir, Derwin, and obviously a lot of the free cards are currently holding up spots at the moment. And then we got the special teamers, Michael Badgley, and then we picked up the new punter from San Fran. So it's I'm going to say a pretty good lineup for now. I've spent I think a couple weeks worth of pro fantasy packs, and then I got a free bundle. So I haven't really spent that much money on the squad yet, and that's what it's looking like. That Kyle Pitts came in clutch too when I got him.
Yeah, that Kyle Pitts is a great card, honestly. I didn't do my rookie premieres last year, and I regret it.
What's weird is I didn't do my rookie premieres. When you get to level 15, you're supposed to get him, though. It was level 10 when you're supposed to get rookie premiere.
Yeah, you get a free one.
And I chose him as my free one, so.
Nice.
It was between him and Jamar Chase, and I'm like, as much as I like Chase to some degree, I prefer having Keenan Allen on one of the sides. And,
yeah, for sure.
Keenan Allen's probably one of the most underrated route runners in the league, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Pixies? What the fuck is that? Kyle, I was about to say, you can probably read weird languages. What does that say?
Yeah, I read parcel tongue.
Oh, well, that's Stoney's thing. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Stoney's a bit of a weirdo.
You gotta say my geyser, and then you read it, and then you're like, oh, Pissicus.
Yeah, right. I mean, I was like, Pizza what? I think if you put my guy before it, it would have made more sense to me too.
But that's dope. I like how people's got their catchphrases. He's got his claps after the race. Posts on Twitter if you're not in the chat. That's
it's very fun.
In his own thing. I like it.
And that's why my content, a lot of what I do when I can't figure out what game I want to play, but I know the games that I might want to play, that's why I post them and I let the community vote on them, because then I know not only am I going to enjoy it, but other people are going to enjoy it too,
Yeah.
Because when I post those, I normally have 4 games narrowed down, and I just post all of them because I know regardless I'm not playing them, and it lets me see where the community is at in terms of what they want to see. I was thinking of changing my name to Miss Stoney Baloney just because he calls me that all the time. Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair. So here's what we're going to do while we're asking questions. While I'm asking the final questions.
One or two more left. I gotta go, so I'm gonna eat before I go on stream.
Okay, so what we're going to do while we're finishing up the questions is we're going to go ahead and do draft champions, and the chat's going to go ahead and draft a team while we're chatting. Second to last question. When you're streaming, is there anything you do before you start up? Is there a ritual that you do? Is there stuff you try to do beforehand besides eat like you just mentioned? Or is it just you hop on?
I don't know if this counts, but I always make sure I have 2 bottles of water or a bunch of water. I don't know what that is. When I go live, you just start drinking water.
When you stream, you talk a lot, so I think that is part of a thing that anyone would do, including you. If that's something you do before every stream, you make sure.
And I'm talking a lot. Yep.
This is actually a good first round. Chat, go ahead and type 1, 2, or 3 for who you think I should draft here. And yeah, pretty stream rituals I feel are one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't get to see because of it being off camera. That's why that's one of the questions.
A lot of it for me is just getting it all right. You know what I mean? It used to take me almost 10 minutes to set everything up.
Yeah.
Now I just snap this over here, snap that, open up a bunch of tabs on my soundboard, get a moderator view, get a stream dashboard view, you know what I mean? And bam, boom.
It's a lot of
and
stuff
then turn
for
the light
sure.
on, good to go.
With me, I always make sure. Today I didn't because I had actually went to Burger King before I came back to do the podcast. So I already ate. I had, I already had a soda from there. But typically, when I'm about to go live, I make sure I have something to drink, rather it be vitamin water, Monster. I have two of whatever
Get
it is.
something, yeah, get a little G Fuel or something as well, yeah,
And
for sure.
then what I do is when I initially boot up, I send out all the links to all like the Discords, Twitter, everything that I'm in. So I make sure as many people see I'm live as possible.
Smart, yep.
And then I just sit here, do my thing, and every once in a while I catch a raid like I did today from Gamepad. But like I said to you, even like in this view, it's a little harder to not look at the numbers right there. But a lot of time when I stream, that's not up. It's normally up on my phone where chat will be. And then I don't pay attention to numbers after that. I'll see when like on below it when there's that red dot that shows you viewers and comments, just that, but with a red dot next to it. I'll notice it when it pops up sometimes, but if I see like the number jump from like 3 to like 8, that's when I have to look down at chat if I wasn't already, because it's like, did I catch a raid or something? Because I don't like missing thanking people for raids.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you gotta keep up with that, the activity feed and all that, for sure.
But that's one thing I like about this view over what I normally do, is that I can see chat, but at the same time, those fucking numbers are always up, and I hate it. So,
yeah, you can click them off for the stream dashboard.
yeah. Whereas with here, I have to. They kind of have to be there because, like, unless I take the comments off and then I don't see chat at all, it basically has to be there. But I have another. I have two more questions. Hopefully, I have time for two more.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for streamers that want to go from console to PC? Any like specific, budget items that somebody can get?
Wait, I missed the beginning part. I'm sorry.
Is there
Sure
any advice you'd have for streamers who want to go from console to PC in terms of what parts or what like microphone or whatever to get that's like a budget option?
Okay. I would say, I believe having a capture card that does all the work, so your PC's not doing anything, so you can have a lesser PC or laptop, whatever. That's the key. Having that good capture card that can get you the audio and the game sound, and you can be playing your music through said PC. That's really what you want. As you can see, I literally use earbuds to hear, but it's all about what you guys hear. So if I don't hear any music, or if I'm hearing just a little bit of the stream, like, that's not a big deal. I'd rather have everything fixed audio-wise on the other end. But I don't know if it's much of a budget item, but buying a $30 mic might be a good thing. But if you kind of invest in it, you can make your quality a little bit better. As my buddy Navy, because like Navy was telling me, he kind of was like, dude, you need a stationary mic, because really, that's what you're hearing is the voice. Almost like some people won't even use a camera, you know what I mean? And they can be successful that way just by carrying people with your voice. So if you can get that Blue Yeti or something that you can plug your headphones into even to adjust your audio, maybe, because sometimes you buy a microphone and then it has no adjustment on the audio, then you have to go inside of your stuff. So yeah, for sure, having that mic, I think it's a little bit, not to spend a little bit more, but it's smart just to kind of like make sure you have everything that you want with a mic. Don't just get one you see.
I can agree with that. I think that's probably true.
And I think one thing too is, like, you're not gonna just buy all of this shit at once, and that.
Yeah, you definitely have to prioritize.
I just see it as, upgrade little at a time. If you can make one upgrade to your stream each day or whatever, that's a win. And if it's a widget, if it's a freaking guy dancing, you know what I mean, animated, whatever, it's something. You're moving towards something. You know what I mean? So if you can wait, maybe next month buy a light, work your way into getting stuff. You don't have to get it all at once.
Animal actually just said capture card is clutch advice, and I think that's true. Capture card's pretty important for as a streamer to have. And there's obviously lots of options.
Capture card, you're sitting duck.
All right, so last question.
Madden on PC. I mean, there's people that do, and I get why they do it, but then if you're living in the States or whatever, I would definitely suggest playing on console.
Ooh, this last round's pretty tough. So, last question for you before we let you head off and finish off the rest of your day. What would you say would be the biggest thing for you personally as a streamer that you feel has been most key to how far you've gotten in streaming?
I think there's two things, and the first one, I don't know, there's no like one or two, it's just they're both 2 points I got, is that you have to be comfortable with streaming. I don't know if I said it earlier, like,
Yeah.
you're going to boot up for the first time and put a camera on yourself. You've never done that in your life. It's going to be something to get used to. And for you to kind of like be your actual self, and then for people to like accept you for that, then you can kind of move somewhere as a streamer. What was the other
I feel
one?
like as a streamer,
and the other thing I would totally suggest is an easy one. Not easy to do, but it's what you need to do is networking, man. I'm telling you. Don't even, if you want to stream, for advice for new streamers, if you want to stream, don't stream yet. Go into a community and put yourself in there, and you know what I mean. Put yourself in a community or people that you want to talk to and hang out with and learn about them. And I think a lot of it gets lost in the lurk. Everybody's lurking, but everybody's busy. But if you got a chance to hang out in one person's stream and sit there for more than 20 minutes, you know what I mean, or at least just 20 minutes, and give them some time. Maybe you'll learn something about something or somebody. You could just get your name in the chat, just be like, yo, hey, how are you? Just, it's hard for you to raid somebody if you don't know them or if you don't know their name. So if you were to never network on Twitter, or you were never to go into somebody else's chat and actually chat, how would they know to raid you when they get off? And how are you going to grow? How are you going to get more exposure?
A lot of us started
So
kind of
searching.
The same way. We all started like, we've all first checked into somebody like J-Dub, Fenler, you know, there's those big names now that were pretty big when we first entered, and you engulf yourself in the community first. I think I was in there for about a week before I decided to start streaming. I feel like that was key to helping me hit affiliate in the first week, because I already knew a ton of people. And I feel like if you want to stream, like you said, you have to be in a community first. You have to be able to network. And that's why I network on Facebook, Discord, Twitter. I haven't done it on like TikTok or anything like that yet, but I'm planning on doing that pretty soon.
But there's a way to be very corporate about it, and that's being smart too, and putting yourself out there and doing everything you can to get someone to, you know what I mean, to just even a few. Just,
you have to sell
but
yourself.
At the same time, you want to have those genuine interactions with people.
You want to sell yourself to people who haven't came into your stream yet, is basically what that boils down to when you network. And then you know you're going to have like the OG people that are always going to be there no matter what. Like Laser Beam for me is one. Blue's almost always in here. Sapper was in here almost every day during that 25 days I was streaming. He was there for at least an hour. And, you know, I know that in this community there's at least going to be 3 to 5 people that are always going to be here, even if they're not chatting.
Yeah, and I think the main point would be that a lot of people don't want to have that. I don't know if they don't want to have that genuine interaction with somebody, or they're just kind of like trying to say hey and then go to the next stream and then say hey and then go to the next stream and say hey.
So that's like what I do is I hop in, I hang out with people.
Interact with the streamer.
Well, that's like me. I hop in, I interact with the streamer for a little bit, and then I hop into another guy's thing. And I'm normally in each stream for about 15 minutes, and then I jump out.
Yeah. And it's tough because there's a freaking million people out there. So
in our community alone, I'm pretty sure we have a couple hundred people that stream now. So
that's what I'm saying. You can't be everywhere at all times, and people try, and that's awesome, and I really like respect that. It's just tough to do, you know. So if you can tap someone up, it's great. It's good for the viewership and stuff. But you know, it also is great. Really, I just genuinely like having that true interaction with somebody. Maybe sitting with them for a couple hours and learning something about them. Learning something about anything.
I absolutely
because there's people of all
agree.
different ages and stuff, so you know what I mean. It's kind of interesting. All different places living, you know.
Absolutely.
Never know.
Okay, so do you have any closing remarks for chat before we let you head out and finish off your day?
I appreciate you guys having me out here, man. It's awesome. Probably one of my first interviews, I think. So yeah, appreciate you having me. Once again, Kid Couch is one of the homies of the community, man. He's always out here being selfless, and I think that's a good trait to have in life. So
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if you scroll through my Twitter right now, I'm pretty sure 90% of what I've posted has either been the stream team or promoting people's YouTubes and stuff. So, but anyways,
yeah,
thanks for the follow. Say hi to Beauty. Oh, you were in Mr. Clap's chat. I remember that. But thanks you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, Clap came back 2 days ago, and I was very excited about it. But anyways, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to
yes, sir.
To answer some questions.
I appreciate you guys having me.
And
yeah.
I will see you in your stream in a little bit when you boot up.
Heck yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day. Take it easy. Watch the game night. Get your fantasy lineups in. I'm actually going to go do that. Make sure my fantasy lineup's good. I got Gallup, and he was on the injured reserve, so I had to change it up. All right, we put Jamar Chase in there.
Absolutely. All right, man. See you in your chat.
All right, take it easy. Have a good one. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Peace.
All right, guys. I think we already have a rating spot. We're going to send you guys over to probably one of the most trusted people I can think of to send you off to, that being Artem03. So make sure when you get in there, you drop the emotes if you have them, obviously. Or drop his if you have those as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow when we will be interviewing Silver Fox. Best community on Twitch. I always put BFOT because that's family on Twitch. Okay, guys. Peace. Hope you guys enjoy Artem's stream after this one. I'll see you guys tomorrow.